Hey agents, a blind noob here, and in this video, I'm gonna compare two of the best assault rifles currently in the Division 2. Now that the Swarm event is finished and most people have received their Lexingtons, I'm hearing a lot of feedback of people who are very disappointed with this weapon, with several people comparing it unfavorably to the St. Elmo's exotic AR. Both weapons are top tier in the Division 2, but hopefully by the end of this video, we'll be able to crown a winner. Now, before we get into comparisons, you've got to understand that it's really difficult and almost impossible to objectively compare any two items in this game. For example, let's take the FAMAS and the FAL. The FAMAS has a higher DPS, so does that make it a better AR? Well, that depends on a number of factors. Can the user control recoil? If not, the FAL may be the better choice, as it has significantly less recoil. What's the playstyle being used? Close range would favor the FAMAS with its high rate of fire, but at range, the FAL, as it has significantly longer optimal range and it's a laser beam. So right there, you can see how hard it is to even compare two high-end weapons of the same class. Nonetheless, let's try our best to compare the Lexington and Elmo. As far as damage, they both have very similar numbers. The Lexington has a base DPS of 689,000 and Elmo 664. Right off the bat, a slight edge goes to the Lexington. But DPS is simply the base damage multiplied by rate of fire. It doesn't take into account reload speed and mag size. And Elmo has a massive 70 round mag, whereas Lexington has the regular 50 rounder. Does the extra 20 rounds make up for 25k less damage? Well, that's going to depend on your build. A tanky build will need more rounds to take down enemies and will be able to absorb more damage, thus keep firing for longer periods. Also, are you solo or in a group? As a solo, enemies are squishier and all the enemies focus on you, so you won't often be able to fire off 70 rounds without taking cover. Playing in a group means tank your enemies, and they won't always be shooting at you, giving you opportunities to unload entire mags in a single go. Finally, your playstyle and habits will also have an impact. Personally, I'm a chronic reloader. If I take down an enemy with 10 rounds, even if I know there's another enemy right around the corner, I'm reloading. I just can't help myself. So firing off 70 rounds without reloading, unless there's a disrupted warhound right in front of me, it's probably not going to happen. So back to our original question, does Elmo's extra 20 rounds make up for the 25k damage? That's impossible to say without knowing the build, the player, and the content. So let's move on to mods. With exotics, you're locked into your mods, but with high-end weapons, you have some flexibility. For starters, we're going to ignore the mag size as we've already gone over the 70 versus 50 round mags. So we've got 3 left. For Elmo, you get 15% crit chance and 15% crit damage. The handling mod is meaningless as exotics have their own unique recoil patterns and reload speeds, so just ignore it. The Lex, on the other hand, has 3 mods that you can change dependent on your build, but you can't quite get as much crit value as Elmo. You can get 15% crit chance, but no crit damage. Or you can get 10 and 10. Well, how about for a headshot build? Those crit stats on Elmo are basically going to waste, whereas on the Lex, you can get 10% headshot damage without force zoom, plus up to 70% stability. Then we have the linked laser pointer from Technician Specialization that pulses enemies you aim down sights at. This is critical for Heartbreaker and Spotter Flatline builds. Because Lex has a long barrel, you can equip this mod, making it a perfect weapon for those builds due to its high base damage and rate of fire. Can't say the same for Elmo as it cannot equip the laser pointer. So again, for some builds, Elmo's comes with the perfect mods, but other, less mainstream builds, the freedom to customize you get with the Lex will get you further. Finally, let's compare talents. As is the case with all exotics, Elmo comes with a fixed talent. This talent, Actum Est, gives you a full 70 round mag of shock ammo after landing 100 rounds on enemies. Keep in mind that in PvP, you get half a mag instead of the full 70 shock rounds. This can be an absolutely amazing talent in the right situations. Great at stopping groups of rushers, keeping an enemy in place while your teammates can burn them down or destroy their weak point, freeze enemies in line of sight while you interact with objectives, etc., etc. The only issue is, it doesn't provide any extra damage, and as we all know, damage is king in the division. On the other hand, with the Lex, you are free to add any talent to it. Got a spotter build? Use Flatline for an additional 15% damage. Playing in close quarters? Close and Personal will give you 30% damage on kill. High crit build? Go with Strained or Killer. Whatever build you're running, you can change the talent to complement it. Being situational is a trait of most exotics in the game. They are fantastic in specific situations, but otherwise average. It's up to the user to adapt their gameplay to get the most value out of them whenever possible. In the case of Elmo, that could mean charging up your shock rounds, then using it as a secondary, swapping to it to shock enemies only in times of desperation. So the last thing we can compare on these two weapons is their recoil patterns. We can't really say if one is better than the other, as neither really has a strong or inconsistent pull. This is more of a reminder that you should always consider how comfortable you are hitting your shots with a weapon before choosing which is best for you. If a weapon has 10% more damage than another, but for whatever reason you're hitting 15% fewer shots with it, you're going to be doing less damage. Unless you're using that ridiculous Iron Lung, which rewards Potato Aim. So looking at the Lexington, it has a very slight upwards pull, whereas Elmo pulls a little bit harder up and to the right. Knowing and memorizing a weapon's exact recoil pattern is integral if you want to be able to hit the maximum number of bullets. So when you have a minute, jump into the firing range, try out each weapon, and see which one you're most comfortable with. And remember, you can always throw some handling on your build or mods to lower the recoil of a weapon. So there you have it. We've compared St. Elmo's engine and the Lexington top to bottom. So which assault rifle comes out on top? By now, the answer should be pretty obvious. It all depends on you. Want raw damage? Go Lex. Do you or your squad need some utility? Go Elmo. Can't control horizontal recoil? Lex. Want to run Heartbreaker? Lex. Hate reloading? Elmo. Don't have Elmo? Lex. Don't have Lex? Elmo. The fact of the matter is, both of these weapons are extremely powerful S-tier assault rifles in the Division 2. Give them both a try and go with the one you prefer. Or heck, use them interchangeably. You really can't go wrong with either. Now, if you were hoping for a definitive winner in this debate, I'm sorry for wasting your time, but thanks for watching nonetheless. And I hope to see you in the next video, and remember, have fun.